Okay, we are now live. Welcome everybody to another Photoshop party. I hope you brought your own and we're going to have some fun today. Um, we're going to talk about the toolbar, setting up the toolbar, and maybe talk about a couple of the tools that you don't use on a regular basis. See if there's anything that might be interesting to you. So I'm going to jump over to my Photoshop screen real quick. There it is. Da, 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 da. And we have a Photoshop screen in front of us. And everybody can see my Photoshop, correct?
Correct.
All right. Julian Cast has some unique thoughts on the toolbar. She suggests moving your toolbar to the right-hand side next to your layers, actions, and all the other things that you use on a regular basis. I've been using Photoshop since Photoshop 2.5, which is not CS 2.5, but 2.5.
You're dating yourself.
I'm old. But when I first opened up the package, I opened it up and said, now what do I do? I mean, it was there, but I had no idea what to do with it. So, and hopefully everybody is aware you can drag your toolbar around just by clicking on towards the top of it and just dragging it. You can use a mouse, you can use your walking pin, and it will drag around for you as well. You can also, if you don't like the single row, you'd rather have it short, make a double row. You can click on the arrows on the right-hand side, make it single or double. Personally, I like one long row. And now that that popped up, the little movie that you have here, you can turn that on or turn that off using your preferences. So you go to, for Mac users, go to Photoshop, Preferences. I'm not sure which one it's in, but it's in there somewhere. And then also for PC users, you go to Edit down to Preferences. I believe it's under, there it is. Show Rich Tooltips. You just click that off and everything's good. I don't know why I have it on. I don't use it, but half the time I don't even use my toolbar because I like the keyboard shortcuts. It's so much faster to get to. As you look at your toolbar, you'll notice that a lot of these have a little triangle at the bottom right-hand corner of the tools. Some don't, some do. What that is if you click and press down, you now have whatever's inside of that particular tool. So the Move tool, which is V, by the way, you have the Move tool and you have the Artboard tool. I have never used the Artboard tool. I've got no idea what it is. So in the Marquee tool, you have regular Marquee, or rectangular Marquee, I'm sorry. My eyes are going bad on me. Elliptical Marquee, which is for making circles and ovals. Then you have single row Marquee tool and single column Marquee tool. Has anybody ever used the single row or single column Marquee tool?
I have.
You have?
Yeah. For
drawing lines?
I think, yeah, for drawing lines.
Okay.
Not for, what is it for though? That's what I use it for.
I've got no idea. I've never used it.
Sometimes if I want to like straighten something, I think I might use that. I'm not sure.
For straightening, I'll use the straighten tool.
No, I mean like if something's on the table and it's a little ridgy, like it's not flat, then if you use that, you could kind of make it with your stamp tool. I think you can make it flat.
Okay, that makes sense. Going down below that one, we now have the Lasso Tool. Back in the days of old, the polygonal and the magnetic lasso tool were tools of choice for making selections. before they added quick selection and quick mask tools. I mean, it just, you had to use those tools. Now, I saw a guy using, was it the polygonal lasso tool?
Yes.
For drawing around a flame. I said, well, why don't you just use the lasso tool? It's the same thing. And I still don't understand why you went from the lasso tool down to polygonal.
I think it was just, that's the way he's done it for so long that that's the way he does it.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of things I'm going, no, don't do that. But when you're used to doing things and it's your way of doing it, then it works for you. Next tool down is our object selection tool, quick selection tool, and magic wand tool. The object selection tool is brand new to Photoshop 2020. If you don't see it in this tool set, click on the 3 dots down at the bottom down here, and where it says Edit Toolbar, click on that, and it'll be right over here, and you can bring it back over there.
You see, can you say, is that it? The one you're on right now?
Yeah, that's the object selection
I
tool.
don't have that one on my thing.
Okay, so what you'll need to do, if you've upgraded to 2020, then you go down to your 3 dots down here, hold on to it for a second, which will bring up Edit Toolbar, and then you can move it over, because it's probably, it's probably like that when you go to your Edit Toolbar, and we'll just slide it over. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit.
Which update was that?
2020. I think it was one of the
I
first.
found it.
Okay, it was one of the first updates they did for 2020, and they've done like 3 more recently. So next one down is the crop tool. You have your crop tool and perspective crop tool. I've used that a lot to straighten out buildings, and when you're shooting wide angle, you can bring your edges in and make it more the perspective like it should be. The slice tool and the slice select tool. I bet nobody's used those. It's mostly for the old time people. Back in the days of old, when you're on dial-up webs. Anybody familiar with dial-up web?
Yes, I am, embarrassingly.
They used to have your page kind of come in spurts. So you use a slice tool to slice up how much you wanted so the page would load faster. That's more for web making. I've never used it. The frame tool I've never used. It's kind of like just creating a placeholder, as it says there, and it shows you how to use it. The eyedropper tool, I don't use that anymore, because when I'm in my brush tool, if I need a color sampled, I just hit Alt or Option, and it selects the color that I'm tapping on. The ruler tool I haven't used. Note tool, if you're sending notes, if you're sending a PSD file to somebody, you can attach a note to it, and it'll show up in their sample of it, but it won't show up in the printing. And then the count tool, if you need to count something, this is more for medical use. If you need to count white blood cells or count something on your screen, you can go to the count tool and then tap, 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 and it will start counting for you. Here, let me open this up. Open, 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 open. There we go. And I want to count all of these bird dropping lines. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you get lost, it's okay, because it's keeping track for you. You can barely see it, but that's number 11 right there. Mm-hmm. So that's what the count tool is for. I don't know if you would use it. I have used it. I don't know if how often you would use it though. Okay, set that back to normal. Spot healing brush, patch, content aware move tool, and red eye tool. Has anybody ever used the red eye tool?
It's been a
long time ago.
Yeah, it sucks. It will make your pupil black, but it also darken down the iris as well. So you got to be careful using that as well. Content aware move tool. I saw a video by Dave Cross on how to use it, and it worked really cool for him. I've never been able to get it to work for me, but he's an expert, I'm not. Next one down, brush tool. You have your brush, pencil, color replacement tool, and mixer brush. Mixer brush is really cool. Color replacement tool I haven't used, and I'm not sure how to use it. Pencil tool I've used for signatures, surprisingly. Let me go to pencil brush. No, go away. There I am. Pencil tool, and I'm going to fill my image with white. Pencil tool right now is set to 30. I'm going to make it go down to, let's say 2. Give myself some blue ink by selecting a color up there. Click OK. And you'll notice that it did really bad on that because
Your opacity.
opacity went to 0 too instead of the size of the pen. So let's go to 0 for opacity. Command Z that, and we'll use the bracket key to go down. Let's go to 3.
Oh, nice.
Using my Wacom tablet, I can actually sign on there. So that works really cool for if you want to do a signature and attach it to something like a letter in Word or even in Photoshop. You can do that as well. Or in Adobe PDF files, you can do that to put your signature on there so you don't have to scan it or print it, scan it, shoot it, and all that good stuff. Clone stamp tool. Everybody's used the clone stamp tool, so we won't have to discuss that too much. Art history brush and the history brush tool. History brush is really cool. It works for me for doing eyes, lightening the iris of the eye. I put it in screen mode at 10%, and it lightens the iris of the eye really cool. Art history brush. Go to Julian Cast blog, and she'll show you how to use the art history brush. It's got some good stuff you can do with it. We have the eraser tool, magic eraser, background eraser, and plain old eraser. I hate the eraser tool because I always like to use my layers and masking, but it can work on occasion. I just don't use it. Gradient tool, paint bucket tool, a 3D drop tool. The gradient tool is cool for doing gradients. Like you can see in my upper left-hand corner where it's set to the colors up there. You can change from basics to blues to purples. Let's do that one. Draw a gradient, which makes it really cool. Now you can see all those numbers that popped up.
How did you get those colors? Wait, how did you get those colors?
Okay, I went to the upper left up here, I'm in the gradient tool right now. Clicked on the drop down right here, and you have, let me open it way up. You have basics, a couple of different ones up there. You have your blues, your purples, your pinks.
Oh, okay.
So you can make all kinds of stuff off of these and just play around. Pastels, neutrals. Let's go with the pastels, and we'll do this one. So you're making an Easter egg card or Easter card for somebody. You can use this. You can do the linear gradient, the radial gradient. This is the radial. This is kind of not a great example of the radial because the colors are so light, but you can see it.
Which office? Oh, yeah.
Then you have all the different ones up here. Just pick one and play with it and see what it does. It makes a little bit of a star up there. So just play and enjoy and have fun. Okay, paint bucket. Back in the old days, before they gave us a keyboard shortcut, to add a color in here, my primary color is set to blue, so I'll take my paint bucket tool and I'll tap on here and it fills it with blue. Whereas now that you have Option or Control backspace will also give you the colors to fill, so you don't need your paint bucket tool anymore. You can still use it if you want. It takes me too long to find it, so I do it my way. Smudge tool, sharpen tool, and blur tool. Smudge tool is really cool if you're doing Sandra Pierce paintings, and the sharpen tool works great for sharpening the iris of the eyes with her style of painting. That's a whole class all by itself. She does amazing work. Dodge and burn tool and sponge tool. I don't use the dodge and burn tool. I do it a different way. With these, you have to be very careful that they change colors on you when you try to dodge and burn. So be careful with that. The pen tool, the almighty pen tool, me no likey. I don't know if I've told you this before, besides 1,000 times, I don't use the pen tool. Sorry. But it's in there.
Yesterday, I was on another Photoshop thing and I thought someone was talking about the curvature thing. Was that you?
Curvature pen tool? It was not.
Thing.
It was not me.
Okay. Because they were saying it's new and it's really cool. But I don't know. Yeah. It was supposedly easier than the pen tool, but
yeah, I'm not familiar with it. The only good thing about the pen tool is it creates a path, and with the path you can go down to render, flame, and create a flame. And there's all kinds of cool stuff you can do with it. Bang, 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 bang. You know, there's all kinds of cool stuff you can do with the flame tool, which I'm still learning. You have the type tool.
Where was the flame thing?
Okay. Go up to filter, render, flame. But you have to have a path for it to follow.
Okay.
You can't just say, okay, render flame, and it says, sorry, no path. So you got to create a path, and that's when the pen tool is required. There's other ways to make a path as well. You have the type tool. You have the horizontal type tool, vertical type tool, vertical type mask tool, horizontal mask type tool. I've used the vertical type tool occasionally when I'm doing cards and things like that. Most of the time it's the horizontal type tool. The mask tools I have not used. I have not played with those. Path selection tool. I've got no idea how that works, so to be honest with you. The rectangle tool is really cool for making, like if you want to put a place to hold. You can drop a picture in there and use the clipping mask tool, and it's going to fit into there. We can save that one for another time. You also have custom shape tool, and there are a bunch of different shapes available that you can add in there for shapes. So let's say we wanted to have a picture of Mel. We now have a picture of Mel.
Nice.
So glad I made it into Photoshop.
If you don't find all of these in there, and all you have is your basic shapes. You can go to the flyout wheel right here and import shapes. So your default shapes are already there, but you can also import more. So you can do boats and wild animals and lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. And from there, we go down to the hand tool. The hand tool is really cool if you need to move your screen around a little bit. Like let's say,
Get out of it now.
you let's bring up an image really quick. And bring up my birds again. Open, open, open. I said open.
It's like some warehouse.
Bless you. It does not want to open. Why will it not open?
Come on. Who's got the radio on?
I know. It sounds like a warehouse or something, doesn't it? Oh, maybe it's Mel. Where is he? No?
Hang on, everybody
See, it's
stop
like I
talking
heard
for a
you laugh.
second. LA Deck. Larry, you got some sound coming in the background there.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's a TV on downstairs. I'll take it off.
Okay. With my bird, which I can make a little bit bigger, I take my hand tool and move around wherever in the picture that I want to go. You don't have to use the hand tool. You can also hit the space bar. If, like, say you're in the zoom tool, hit the space bar, it automatically turns it to the hand tool so you can move around. Also in there is the rotate view. So you can rotate this. So if you're working and you want to do a vertical painting on it instead of side to side, or if it's the angle that doesn't fit for you. Whoa.
How do you get it back after that? Does it automatic? How do you get it back to your original?
I think if you double tap with the hand tool.
Or maybe you just press return?
You can spin it back around, but I know there's a keyboard or there's a shortcut for getting it there, and I'm not sure what it is.
Okay.
I must apologize.
That's all right. I'm sure we can look it up.
Okay. And last in the toolbar, we have the zoom tool. Everybody knows how to use the zoom tool, right?
Yep.
Probably not. Some people have Scrubby slider. Let me go to full screen here. If you click on Scrubby Zoom, like I like to just go like a marquee around his head to zoom in. Well, what happens in Scrubby Zoom, when you go up and down with it, it'll zoom in and out. Side to side will zoom in and out. It drives me crazy because I'm losing where I'm at. So I take my Scrubby Zoom off and I'll draw a marquee around the head, and that's what zooms in.
Oh.
So if you have your Scrubby Zoom at the top checked, when you go to zoom like I do, it messes me up really bad. I'm so used to the old-fashioned way. Zoom all windows. If you have multiple windows open, they'll zoom them in all together at the same time. So let's do command 0. Let's open this guy up. Now I have 2 tabs up here. If I go to Window, Arrange, Tile All Vertically, put this back over in the side over here. Right now, they're both set to Well, one set to 110 and one set to 100%. Let's take this to 100%. So they're both the same. If I zoom all windows and I want to go and compare heads, it zooms them both up 377, 378. Well, it's close.
Wow, the one on the left is in focus better.
Well, that's one of the reasons for doing this, is so you can see which one's better when you're comparing side by sides. And don't complain about my focus, lady.
I
don't-
am just saying how great the tool is.
Right.
And nobody be laughing with her, okay?
Is this from the San Diego Zoo?
This is from
Beach.
the Wild Animal Park in San Diego.
Okay.
I went there with Sandra Pierce just before West Coast School last year. Oh, wait. Yeah, this is 2019.
So sad it's canceled.
I know, huh?
Postponed a year.
A year. That's
It's
a long
still
time.
sad. It doesn't matter. Okay. Back to the toolbar. Da, 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 da. Let's close that guy out. Close that one out. So all we have is the toolbar. Towards the bottom, after the three dots, which is the edit toolbar dots, you can go to default background and foreground colors, that little black and white checkerboard right here. For me, it's hard to click on the right spot every time. So I just use D for default colors. Much faster that way. You can exchange the colors down here by clicking on the two arrows that go back and forth, or you can hit X. Much faster using X. You can pick your color that you want by tapping on the foreground color or the background color, whichever you want. Pick your color, click OK, and you now have a color. If you want to go from red to black, instead of going all the way over here and clicking on black, just hit the letter 0. Black down here where it says the pound sign and then says 0. Black is actually 0000000 is the official hexadecimal color system for black. And white is FFF, FFF. But if you just hit FFF, it automatically takes you to white. Or you can type in R255, G255, B255, RGB, and all 255s. Or if you want 0, 0, 0, you get black. A little bit of trivia there. I need to have something open here. Let's open one of these. This one's sharper, so we'll pick the sharper one. Thank you for pointing that out and making my ego go away. Down below the color swatches, you have what's called quick mask. And the quick mask is Q is the shortcut for that, so you don't have to go down here and find it and tap it. But when you're in quick mask mode, you take your brush. Let's make it bigger so you can see it. And we'll do a hard edge brush. Oh, that's pencil tool. Duh. Brush tool. Go from a soft edge brush. Make it hard. Flow 100% so we get the whole thing. And what you can do is mask off the area that you want to keep. So what you're doing with the mask is you're making a selection, only you're painting your selection. So if I went out of quick mask mode, you see it's now a selection with the marching ants. And we'll go back into quick mask mode and we'll paint with the white, and that gets rid of it. Or you can just Command D to get rid of all of it, deselect it. Black will paint, white will erase it out.
Black conceals, white reveals.
It's like using a mask. It's actually called Quick Mask. And you're actually making a mask that you can use for a selection.
You know, I use it in the opposite way. In a way, I make the mask with the selection tool and then I clean it up with the quick mask.
Yes, I do that as well.
Okay.
But I was
I've
just
never
showing.
made a selection with it, but
You could do a selection with it that way, or like in this case, let's deselect him, move this out of the way because it's annoying me. We'll go to my quick selection tool or any of the selection tools, and up at the top, it says select subject. Click on select subject. It's going to pick out the bird.
hopefully, yeah, kinda.
Most of the bird.
Yeah.
But you'll see right there that it didn't. So I'll go into quick mask mode, brush tool, and I always use a hard edge brush here when I'm doing this. And you see I started to paint it away. Don't worry about it, just hit X to exchange the colors. And that's how you get the rest of the mask on there. And this is much easier when you're using a Wacom tablet than using a mouse. At least for me it is. I used to use a mouse all the time. And if you go too far, you just hit X and take out that 1 pixel of stuff. And that's close enough for what I'm doing. Get rid of the quick mask so you got your selection. And now you can go up to select and mask and even do more.
Next step.
This is really cool. This is a whole day by itself doing select and
Ooh, we
mask.
should do that.
Mm-hmm.
You guys always want. Okay. A couple of ways to get into changing your toolbar. One is the 3 dots right here where it says Edit Toolbar. Or you can go to Edit, down to the bottom, click on Toolbar. Okay. I don't use the Artboard tool. Goodbye, Artboard tool. I don't use single row marquee. Some people do. I get rid of that.
Mike, a question.
Yes, answer.
Instead of just getting rid of it, what if you want to just separate it, but keep it in the toolbar? So it's like that top one, that Artboard tool. Instead of getting rid of it, what if you want to just make it a separate?
You can do that.
How do you do it? Could you
Drag him back over. When you get rid of it, it's not a permanent getting rid of.
Okay.
You can see right now it's connected to the Move tool.
Right.
So I'll just slide it down.
Oh, and it creates its own separate. I see.
Creates its own identity.
Got
But
it.
it's
Thank
still
you.
V, so how do you, like I have my brush and my mixer brush and they're both Bs.
Okay, I'll show you one in a little bit.
Okay.
Polygonal lasso tool, I don't use that anymore. Magnetic lasso tool, I used once in the last 6 months. I'm cleaning my closet out. These extra tools on the right-hand side are there. They're not gone. They're just out of the way from the regular toolbar. Slice tool, slice select tool, those are gone. I'll keep the frame tool. I don't use this grouping very often, so I'm not even going to mess with it. Spot healing brush, all that stuff, I'll leave that in there because I do use them. And I'll show you how to access them, keyboard shortcut. Color replacement tool, I don't even know how to use it, so I'm not even going to leave it in there. Mixer brush tool, okay. Mixer brush tool I use for painting. My keyboard shortcut for that is A.
Hey.
So you can change your keyboard shortcuts. And you can also drop that out.
So there's no other A in up here? Anywhere else? Oh, the path selection. Well, I don't use those. Okay. 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 I'm
Yeah.
gonna do that.
Pattern stamp tool, I don't use. Say goodbye to the pattern stamp tool. History brush, I use. Art history brush, I haven't used that much, but I'm Planning on playing with it more. Eraser tool. Don't need it. And if I did need it, I'll just tap the letter E and say, bring it back. Gradient tool, I use a lot. Paint bucket tool, I don't use.
Michael, if you type that E and it comes up, does it put it back into the toolbar or keeps it?
It will temporarily put it in the toolbar till you change tools again. Then it'll be gone.
Then it'll be gone. Okay.
I think it puts it down at the bottom of it.
Okay.
Blur, sharpen, and smudge, I'll keep. 3D material drop tool, I don't even know how to use. I'm gonna have to look that up, see how to play with that one. It's one of those where you go, Okay, pen tool. I told you, pen tool don't belong to my thing. I might look at the curvature after hearing about it today. Those are gone. Vertical type mask tool, I don't do. Horizontal type mask, I don't do. Path selection, direct selection, I don't know. And then the rectangular, all these tools down here I will use on occasion. And we can show how to use the rectangular and rounded rectangular in another deal. Rotational view tool, I do not like because it gets me all confused. Zoom tool I use. Okay. I'm sorry, Laura's not here today. At this point, I can hit done, but I'm not going to yet. I'm going to hit Option or Alt, Shift, done. Option or Alt, and Shift, done.
What does that do?
If you look to where my 3 dots is supposed to be,
Oh,
it changes it to a banana.
option.
Option, Shift, done.
Oh, done. Okay, I'm not quite done yet. I was trying to find that curvature thing. I was going to put it back.
It's in the path,
Oh,
somewhere in the, or pen tool, I mean. It's in the pen tool, the bottom of the pen tool.
I moved the pen. Oh, maybe. Okay, I moved the pen tool over. Well, I could do it later.
Okay, so all you do is
there
hit
it is.
Shift, Option, done, and you get your banana. But right now I have the rotation tool selected. The reason that's selected is I tapped on it when I was in the edit toolbar. Hit zoom and it goes back. If I hit R, you'll see it, rotation shows up at the bottom. If I hit E, the eraser shows up at the bottom. So they're not gone. They are available to you. But
If you remember the keyboard strike.
well, or you can go into edit. If you can't remember, well, I don't remember what the keyboard shortcut is. Well, you go to click on your banana or your edit keyboard, and it has all the tools that you got rid of on the right-hand side here.
How about inside where you have a group of them and they all have U's, for instance, but you want to use them separately? Can you change within the group some of those to different letters?
Yes. My mixer brush tool was in the B, and I moved it to A.
Mm-hmm. But
I
you took
could've-
it out of there.
I took it out of there. I'm gonna go up to edit toolbar. Go to my brushes. I could have left it up there and it's BBA,
And it stays A. Okay.
it stays A. I can also move it when I'm in the edit or customize toolbar. I can also move this up to the top of the brushes so it shows up first.
First. Okay. Good. Good. Good.
Where's my smudge tool while I'm at it? Smudge tool. That's also A.
If they're both A, how do you know which one will come up?
Because if one comes up and you don't want that one, and we finish this, hang on, let me save it real quick.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
weird.
If I hit A, right now, A comes up mixer brush tool.
Mm-hmm.
I want the smudge tool instead of the mixer brush tool, so I hit Shift A,
Ah.
and you'll see that it rotates between
Ah,
If I have brush, hit Shift B, rotate between the
Wow.
got,
pin,
got
use
it.
the Shift to rotate through on the keyboard shortcuts.
That I did not know. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Back, let me
Um,
go back to
Mike,
edit.
I did what you suggested and I didn't get a banana.
Are you PC or Mac?
Mac.
Oh,
Okay, hit the brush tool, B for brush. Did your banana show up now?
Hold on. Brush tool. Oh, wait a minute. I have to- Okay. No.
It's still just the 3 dots?
Yes, and it also, it makes those 3 dots show up things that are in the extra tools, not, it's weird.
So if you hover over the, or tap on the 3 dots and hold it down, it should have edit toolbar and then all of the tools to go with it.
so
My-
I have
my-
that same problem.
Yeah, mine's not doing it.
Okay.
I
So,
keep getting, oh, go ahead.
Hang on. Okay, Cheryl?
okay, mine just, the 3 dots turned into the, something that was on the extra tools, the marquee
Okay.
thing that I don't want.
Same with me. I have that problem too. Mine is a ellipse tool.
Okay. Hit B on your keyboard, B for brush,
Oh, yeah.
and it should change the, or go into your brush tool,
Yeah.
and it should, if everything goes right, go to brush tool. It should change it to the banana instead of the 3 dots or whatever tool is showing up there.
So when I, oh yeah, that worked. But when I do the 3 dots,
Uh-huh.
it's the ellipse tool.
Right.
If I hover over it, it's the ellipse tool. I don't know why.
Because that's the last tool that was used that's in the extra tools. So if you
Oh.
went into, say, curvature pen tool, like it's what's on my thing right now,
Yeah.
that's now what's going to show up every time I go down there. So when I go down
Oh.
here,
I haven't used that tool in ages though.
How do you get
well,
the 3 dots back?
You just hold it down. You just hold it down.
to get the 3 dots back, you go to edit toolbar, and you should just be able to hit done.
Done.
What's done?
Good.
Okay.
Done means you've finished editing your
No,
toolbar.
but what, you're pushing shift?
Okay, hang
option?
on, hang on. Here we go. I'm going to edit toolbar. To have just 3 dots, all you do is click on done in the upper right-hand corner.
Oh, okay.
To save it to banana, to make people crazy, Command Shift,
For me,
no, Option Shift, I'm
but
sorry.
it's still the
Option
ellipse.
Shift done.
That's so weird.
And it will look like the old tool until you click on another tool. Then the banana will show up.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. I think it's working. Thank you.
Yep.
I'm sorry, mine's not working on mine.
Still not working, huh?
What my dots, instead of being dots, it is the single row marquee tool that I put over in extra tools.
Okay. If you click on your brush tool away from the 3 dot area, or click on the crop tool or any other tool but that one, does it change
Okay.
now?
No.
It's still not changing, huh?
Well, wait a minute, it's not on done. Hold on. Crop
Okay.
tool. Oh, okay, there. Now it goes back to the dots. You're right.
Okay.
Okay.
I want an apple.
So
There's always one.
No, there's always
There's
more
in
than one.
gray. So the only option it gives me, the 3 dots now, is this single row marquee tool. How do I make it stop that?
Okay, what you do is you click on your banana or your single, click and hold on down at the bottom down here. Just click and hold, and it'll bring up Edit Toolbar and then all the tools that you got rid of. So whatever one of these you clicked on last, when you click on here, that's the tool that's going to show up. Does that make sense? All your deleted, or all your extra tools that you're not using, the one that you did last will be the one that shows up at the bottom down here. Once you click off of that tool, it goes back to either 3 dots or the banana, depending how you saved it.
How did you get to edit toolbar? I can see
Okay.
customize toolbar, but not edit toolbar.
If you click and hold on that last tool down there, the banana or the 3 dots,
Okay, click and hold, all right?
click and hold. It should, if you look at my screen brings up the tools that are not being used. And at the very top of that, it says Edit Toolbar. Or,
Gotta go, I'll catch up later.
good seeing you.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
and then, all right, so now I have that. Now how do I get rid of that? I have the list of, what the last one is, this marquee tool.
Okay. You just go to a different tool and it goes away.
Okay, all right.
So if you click on the
Any
brush
other-
tool or the clone stamp tool, that goes away at the bottom down there.
Okay. I clicked on another tool.
And
I
so
don't have any now.
now you have either 3 dots or a banana, depending how you saved it. But if I hover over it, it says I have the curvature pen tool is the one that's next up in that list. So one more thing at the bottom. Let me open up an image real quick.
Cheryl, are you on 2020? If you're on
Maybe
an older Photoshop, it may not have that option.
They started doing this in 2015, I believe.
Oh, okay, that's 5 years.
So yeah,
That's
it's
like, I may not have 2020, but it's at least, I think it's 19.
19. It works on 19.
Work then, yeah.
We can address
I'm
this.
holding everything up. Maybe when we're done, you can help me get.
I was going to say we can address this one-on-one and work on it.
Thank you. Sorry.
At the bottom of your toolbar is a pair of screens side by side. What that is equivalent to pushing the F button. It will take you to full screen. And it also gets rid of your toolbar. So you got to know to push the F button to get it back or escape. Very, very bottom of the toolbar.
Okay,
It is
I get it.
change screen mode, and you can go full screen. There's a couple different things down there at the bottom: standard screen, full screen, and I can't read the other because there's stuff on my screen in the way. So, but for presentation views, what you can do when you want to show people something full screen, you hit F, and then if you got rulers in and you want to get rid of the rulers, hit Command or Control R. Control 0 will bring it up full screen so you can see that. And then to get rid of that, you just go F. So for presentation mode, you just go F, 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 F.